Hello and welcome to the Fit for Business Life podcast. The Fit for Business Life podcast is brought to you in partnership with Sharp Fit for Life and the Business Body Network, improving the performance and transforming busy, overweight professionals, business owners and consultants along with their teams to become fitter, happier and more confident. The Fit for Business Life podcast is all about sharing passion, knowledge and expertise around business and personal performance from our host, myself, Martin Sharp, a 30-year change maker in businesses large and small, and Dominic Furness, a world traveller and life enthusiast, plus special guests sharing their know-how and experience in making changes in business and themselves, featuring inspirational stories, insights, tips, practical knowledge, bringing more healthier, happier and higher achievement to your world.
Why not follow this podcast? We're live on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button and drop us a like. We very much appreciate all of your support.
So sit back and enjoy this episode of the Fit for Business Life podcast, brought to you in partnership with Sharp Fit for Life and the Business Body Network.
And this episode is
Kilimanjaro meals.
Oh yes, I am excited to hear all about this. I've seen a few images, but I do not remember them too vividly.
Yeah. Well, it was really quite interesting because when you think about meals from a nutritional point of view, if we go back to the basics here, one of the things we need to make sure of is we've actually got enough energy for going up the mountain.
Mm-hmm. Well, that is something that you're a bit of a veteran in now, of all that running.
Yeah, definitely. And with the weight training and with fat loss, etc. There's lots of different things, and being able to help so many other people through those same things.
And it is cool, like just seeing, like, because each one of these things you have to have a different diet, basically. For example, like with the running diet, on the running day, I'm talking about just like eating the jelly babies, which I have actually heard from someone else recently. Actually, their method is also to eat jelly babies on those longer runs. But in your weight loss journey, that was not an option really for like doing the resistance training. Like eating jelly babies was like on the do not do, but then on the running, it's on the absolutely do for you, again specific to your body. And then again, like finding another diet that's going to work to give you the right amount of energy for this trip. Obviously, we've had different experts on the way, like Claire Fudge has helped you with the running. People have helped you with the losing weight. And then this time, like Pat and his team, I guess, have provided the meals that are nutritionally balanced and giving you enough energy for the trip. So yeah, it's just quite an interesting thing that you've had like so many different diets, so many different things, and just proof that they all can work for you.
Yeah, and when you kind of look at some of the days as well, I mean, it would easily burn through like 3,000, 4,000 calories on some of the big days where we do like a 10-kilometer walk with like 1,000 meters of ascent. There was days where we didn't do quite as long. I think we did like a 6-kilometer walk, but had 1,000 meters of ascent as well in it. So you got more vertical climbing, so you're using more muscles. And then you had some quieter days where you'd only do like a 5-kilometer walk with maybe 400 or 500 meters of ascent. So you kind of got to balance everything through it. I mean, one of the things when I was chatting to Pat about it, that kind of came up was, you know, when you finish doing a climb like this, you shouldn't have lost weight.
Okay.
That's kind of one of the key things, because if you've lost weight, it means you haven't taken in enough calories to actually fuel the body through that period. And as we know from doing the marathons, you know, the fuel that you take in isn't just a case of about fueling the body for the energy it needs to move. It also then helps with the mindset that you've got, because if you don't take enough like carbohydrates in, then that's where the mind starts to really crave them, when it starts to get depleted of energy. And that's where some of those really dark thoughts come in. So, for example, when people talk about hitting the wall, when they're doing marathons, etc., it's usually at that point where the body is changing and it's no longer got enough carbohydrates inside it to actually be able to fuel the mind.
Right, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I'm aware that sometimes if you're eating like fat-reduced or fat-free products and your body is expecting the energy from it and then it doesn't get it, it can almost like placebo your mind into like a bit of like a crash.
Yeah, absolutely. So you got all these kind of things that are happening inside your body just to make sure. So the nutrition that you're taking in is partially to give you the energy to be able to continue to do the walk that you're doing, but then also it's about keeping that mental state in that great place as well.
Mm-hmm. So the way you're describing this doesn't sound quite like please explain this a bit further, because I'm like picturing in my mind like walking along and then like having a snack, and then that gives you a bit of a dopamine hit that then like boost your mindset. But I know from conversations we've had before on this podcast that is probably not what you're saying. So please remind me of.
Well, that is part of it, to be honest with you. You still get that same, because as soon as you've kind of eaten something, it's a way of being able to trigger some of those hormones that happen around your body. And again, it's a bit like, for example, when you're in a really stressed state, one way of being able to kickstart that kind of parasympathetic kind of feeling is by eating. So you're not wrong in the fact that as you're walking, taking a snack in, and that will give you that kind of dopamine hit. That's absolutely, that's part of it. But I think the bit that I was trying to highlight here is more to do with how your energy is balanced as you're kind of taking the fuel in. You're taking the fuel in not just to move, which is what a lot of people think about. They think about the active calories, but it's also about actually mood as well. So it's actually how can you stop yourself from crashing?
Right. Yeah. So that's what I think when we did when me and Amy did the Way of the Roses bike ride that we may or may not have finished in one go. That was like some of the big advice we got was like eat before you're hungry on that. Just so you can have that maintenance level, set that baseline of not crashing below the baseline, because it's so hard to climb back out of that hole. Where it's probably just better to stay above it. And we did find that because we thought we took a considerable amount of food and definitely a lot more snacks than we'd ever eat. And like halfway through the day, we'd eaten it all. I was like, okay, like lesson learned, like definitely need more than anticipated. And like just keeping the tank above half full rather than like letting it go down to like a quarter of the tank and then just feeling like quite lethargic and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the marathon training and the marathons that I've been doing, it's exactly the same principle. What I'll be doing is taking in fuel every half an hour. Because we've got to remember, it takes roughly about half an hour or so for it to go through your system so you can start to metabolize and use it. So what you might be taking in as fuel now, you might be using for like a half an hour and a half down the road. So you need to make sure you keep this kind of constant supply coming through into your body. And with the hill walking as well, with the mountain climbing, it's the same principle. So you need to make sure you've got the fuel in there. So every day it would be, you would have a hearty breakfast, there'd be a good lunch, there'd be a great evening meal as well, all of them prepared by Peter. Peter's a magician, by the way. If you ever get a chance to go on Kilimanjaro and Peter is your chef, you are in for a treat.
So Peter was a chef, because I seen across your socials mentioning Peter cooked this, Peter cooked that, Peter made this, and it was delicious. And I thought Peter was just a member of like the team of people going up. I didn't realize he was like part of the crew. So that's pretty good observation.
Yeah.
Realization. Sorry.
Yeah. So if you can imagine, Peter's got this little tent. It's like an old fashioned Scouts type frame tent.
Right. Okay.
Probably about half the size of many of the others that are around there. So probably be 2 meters by maybe 4 meters as a floor plan. And then in there, he's got usually 2 or else 3 gas burners on top of gas cylinders. And to the right hand side of him, he's got like a tarp laid out with all the fresh vegetables. It looks amazing when you go in there, and he's carefully kind of preparing all the food. And you kind of think, okay, well, it can't be that hygienic because you're in a really dusty environment. You're in a tent, right? But actually, Peter is so meticulous with cleanliness because, again, we need to be on the mountain. It's easier to get ill because your body is already in this position where it's going to be more fragile because it's not in its oxygen-rich environment.
Mm-hmm.
So you've already got these extra stresses happening. So Peter's meticulous. He literally is constantly boiling water. He's constantly cleaning utensils, and everything that he's cooking with is constantly cleaning. He's cleaning his hands. He's cleaning the food. Everything. He's so meticulous with it. And then he would just create these amazing meals. Would have things like sweet corn fritters that were all freshly made. You remember freshly made, it's like potato chips as well, like you get from fish and chip shop?
I had some at the weekend.
He
Not from Africa, though.
He makes those at the top of the mountain. This is just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, shout out Peter.
Yeah, and some of the most amazing soups. So we had like cucumber soup, a pumpkin soup, vegetable soup.
Please tell me more about cucumber soup. What's that like?
It's really nice.
Wow, yeah, never. Not courgette, actual cucumbers.
Yeah, cucumber. Yeah, so it's like a light greeny coloured soup. It's And again, all the soups are made incredibly runny. They're not a thick soup because this is another way of getting liquid into you. Hydration is really important. You need like 4 liters a day. You'll
2
be carrying
1 stone, eh?
Yeah, you'll be carrying about 2 liters with you anyway. So again, trying to make sure that you keep well hydrated all the way up.
Awesome. Yeah, please continue. So we had the cucumber soup, the other soup.
Yeah, and
What's
rices and pastas, and he'd make chicken dishes. He did a fantastic like beef. He called it a beef sauce, and it was just really really nice, like beef and tomatoes and vegetables and things. Slight like peppery taste in the background. So he was a very very good chef as what he was kind of creating. And again, everything's fresh, everything's really nutritious. And
when you say it's fresh, where are they getting it from?
They carry it all up.
Right, and it's sourced in Tanzania.
Yeah. I mean, when you're going through the streets of like Moshi, or in fact, any of the major roads, there's always sellers down the sides of roads, or hawkers and things that are selling all sorts of things, whether from peanuts to tomatoes to watermelons. There's just everything all over, and it's sometimes it's because they're commercial growers. Sometimes it's everyone has their own little family patch that they do subsistence farming on. They just have a few extra items, and they'll go out and those farmers will sell the extras that they have there.
Wow.
And it's incredible just when you go to see it, just literally it's festooned with kind of foods and produce and stuff. Yeah, very, very cool to see.
Right, I think that might have to be the word of the episode, festooned.
Festooned, there you go.
But yeah, no, it does sound really nice, real fresh, like having the farmers there, the people standing outside the road, and then they're like buying it from the local economy and taking up the mountain for Peter to work his magic on. That does sound pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, because like I said, they've got 42 of us went up the mountain together, but only 12 of us ascended to the summit. And the other 30 were there effectively. They were bringing all the tents, they were bringing the equipment, they were bringing the food, etc. They didn't bring the water from the bottom, but what they would do is there's lots of water sources on the way up. So they would be gathering the water, filtering the water, boiling the water, etc. And then the problem with Barafu camp is the water source has actually dried up there because it was all glacial melt waters, and the glaciers are receding. So what they had to do then is they had to go back to the Karanga camp, which was 5 kilometers away, and actually take the water from Karanga camp that they would need for the 2 days to be at Barafu.
So, and they didn't realize that at the time.
No.
They had to get there, then turn around, then come back again.
No, they knew this.
Oh, they knew this already, pre-planned. So they didn't have to do they did have to do the extra 10k,
yeah,
5k back. So they bring the tents and then go 5k back, get the stuff, 5k again.
Yeah. So
wow.
if you can imagine, these guys are carrying like 30 liters of water in these great big buckets with lids on and stuff. And it's just, it's unbelievable the effort that they all put into it. And in fact, it was on the last day when we were in the airport hotel, we got chatting to the guy who was running the bar. And he used to be one of the porters because he said he'd been up to the top of Kilimanjaro a couple of times. And he says it's hard work, but he says it's really rewarding.
Right, I can imagine.
And again, with the guys that were there, it was really nice speaking to them because they were really enjoying it. They were having fun as much as we were, but they were putting massive amounts of effort to make sure that we could do that summit trip.
Yeah, it is incredible. Like, just built different, and I guess for them it is like a very good high status job to have too.
Yeah, I think so. So that was a really nice one. So coming back to the meals, obviously we've got the meals being cooked there. We've got the snacks that we were also got given, such as you'd have things like biscuits and apples and things like that. So you could have bits in between as well.
Right,
plus the
cool.
things that we took over from the UK. So I took nuts and fruit. So I had that available to me.
A trail mix.
Yeah, a bit like a trail mix, yeah. And I also took some jelly babies, obviously.
Of course. Oh, of course.
So I had the jelly babies specifically for that summit night, so that we all know that effort moment. I'm not going to say the word, but that comes to everybody. You get to a point where actually you think I can't go any further. It's hitting the wall from a marathon perspective, and it can just take a few more jelly babies that can actually then get you over it. Like I was saying, that kind of that glucose hit to your mind that can help kind of refocus it and get you back into position. So I took 3 bags of jelly babies with me, but because I was so affected by the high altitude sickness, we didn't eat any of them. So actually, we had the jelly babies when we got back to the hotel over a few Kilimanjaro beers.
Yeah, I did see those. I've never had jelly babies in beer, but I did see he was enjoying a few of those. Well deserved, should we say, Kilimanjaro beers. They look cool. Was it a lager?
Yeah, I think so. It was like an ale, a very light
Like
ale.
an ale, not a lager. Okay.
Yeah, so it was a really nice, really tasty. It was refreshing. It wasn't too fizzy or bubbly or anything else like that. It was just a really nice.
And I
brew.
saw you were having one by an open fire at one point. Like, what was that like in Africa? Open fire. It must have been boiling.
No,
I know it gets cold at night, but
yeah, it does get cold at night. It's surprisingly enough. I mean, not as cold as here in the UK, but it does kind of get colder. And on the mountain, obviously, doubly so.
oh yeah, definitely.
So you know, that summit night, we went from -1 in the camp with a wind chill factor that brought it down to about -6, up to the top where I think, if I remember right, it was -9 to -10 with a wind chill factor that brought it down to -7.
Wow. And that's another reason why, as like Pat was saying, like you need to eat enough food and don't lose weight, basically, because being cold will burn a lot of calories like that. Just trying to keep that temperature up inside, keep that furnace going. So I guess you just need to add fuel to that fire.
Yeah, absolutely. So that you've got the energy then to like bring yourself back down afterwards. And like God Living was saying, do not sleep. It's that simple. So yeah, so that's kind of from a nutritional point of view. There's lots of kind of things to think about to get you up, to get you then back down safely. Because the trek isn't finished until you've finished and you're in the hotel.
Okay.
Yeah, so getting to the summit is only half the job. If you can't get yourself back down safely, then it's not really a finished deal.
No. And I imagine like the day down's a lot faster. It's like 5 days up, 2 days down, right? But then I heard you on the phones, Pat, earlier, saying there's some quite a bit of scree on the way down to kind of navigate as well. So you definitely want to be have enough energy to combat that.
Yeah, I think we'll talk more about the scree and the actual way back down when we talk about movement. I think that'll be a really good kind of part of the topic there, and start to talk about the burn.
Yeah, that'll definitely be good. I'm just trying to think if I have any more like foodie related questions. Like how many meals? Because the times that you were kind of like, for example, the ascent was in the middle of the night. Like, is it a set like breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack in between, or is it a bit less rigid than that?
The summer night is different, obviously.
So something that's a bit of an outlier.
Yeah, so normal days would have been we got woke up. We had a gentleman called Coleman and another one called Manuel that would kind of wake us in the morning, bring us water for washing. So we were all clean before we even started. We'd pack our tents away and then head into the mess tent effectively for breakfast. Breakfast would usually be things like a porridge. It would be like fruit. You'd have toast if you wanted, eggs, frankfurters, which was the sausages. And Fergus really liked the sausages. It was like if anybody was leaving the sausages, he would have them. And then we'd start up off the mountain. Usually we'd stop part way for a cup of tea. So the guys would have already set up tea. There'd be things like popcorn. You don't get potato crisps potentially. You get banana crisps, but they're actually cooked in the same way. But they're not like sweet bananas like we get here. They are kind of more of a savoury taste. But it tastes very similar to a normal crisp. And they have like a chewy version, which is a bit thicker. And usually coupled with like paprika or something. So we'd have those, or biscuits. So things like the nice biscuits we get in the UK, very similar to those. And then we'd continue on. We'd have lunch. Lunch would be either something like sandwiches, or it might be a cooked meal. So it might be like chips and vegetables of some kind, like a salad. So again, lots and lots of vegetables being used. Sometimes you get like a cooked chicken, like a cooked chicken leg or breast, etc. The chicken tended to be a lot drier than what we would normally cook.
Is it like the grey, like black grainy chicken? Because you get that in Asia quite a bit.
No. It's just like a normal
so it's just chicken. Like an overcooked turkey instead.
Yeah, it's like you've left the Christmas turkey for a little bit too long.
Yeah, like not discrediting the food. That's just what it's like.
It's just it's really tasty. I mean, don't get me wrong, but it is dry. So kind of get used to that. And then with the water that you would be carrying, what I tended to do was put the evanescence tablets in there, the ones that would be vitamins based. So again, just making sure that I kept the vitamins topped up, and it also was great because you'd end up with something that tasted a little bit more, sort of more palatable.
Yeah, and especially at altitude, that's the thing with plain food. Like you lose a bit of your taste up there. So I imagine having like something with a bit of flavour would be nice.
Yeah, so that kind of worked. And then we'd stop again for a drink of tea on the way back up in the afternoon. Or if we got to camp, we'd have tea in the camp, which again would be tea, popcorn, blah, blah, blah. And then the evening meal would be something that Peter would have created, which would be magnificent.
Yeah.
Really nice soups, really nice warming kind of meal we'd have there. So that would be the normal cadence. Summer night obviously was different. We had evening meal a lot earlier. The guys actually took a couple of flasks of tea up with them.
All right, cool.
So we did have tea on the ascent, which was really kind of them. And then when we got to the top, we had a small glass of non-alcoholic champagne, and then back down the mountain.
Yeah, that sounds incredible, does that?
Yeah, and we got back for lunchtime. So
fantastic.
We could hit the normal cadence of lunch, drink of tea, then
continue it on again.
Evening meal.
Wow, yeah, no, that's really, really well thought out and articulated by you. Yeah,
I mean, it's an incredible kind of process to go through. The guys have got it all down to a T. The style the call is called siege tactic.
Siege tactic.
Yeah, so you kind of go en masse effectively as a caravan up the mountain. So you're taking all the food, all the tents, all the equipment, etc., and then final ascent before coming back down. So there you go. Learn something new every day.
Yeah, no, I love that. That was amazing. Thank you for those insights of the food, the fueling strategies and everything. What we're going to be on with in the next episode?
So next episode, we'll go through some of the movement elements. So we'll talk a bit more about that. I think we touched on a few things in the first episode in the series around that, but we'll continue on with that. And then we'll talk more about moderation, so rest, which is really quite important. That'll be our 4th episode.
Amazing. Well, stay tuned for those and we'll be back.
Yeah, and so as always, a big thank you for taking the time out to listen to this episode of the Fit for Business Life podcast. The Fit for Business Life podcast is brought to you in partnership with Sharp Fit for Life and the Business Body Network, helping busy professionals and their teams become even healthier, happier, and higher achieving in business and in life. If you'd like to join us as a guest or get in touch to know more about the topic covered, then we'd love to hear from you. Simply email hello@sharpfitforlife.com. Once again, thank you for listening to the Fit for Business Life podcast. The Fit for Business Life podcast is produced and presented by Wax Tie Limited. Copyright Isabella.